As the gavel struck, the courtroom filled with a sense of anticipation. The wooden benches creaked under the weight of curious onlookers, each eager to witness the proceedings unfold. Tall pillars lined the room, and sunbeams streamed through the high windows, casting shadows on the faces of those present. At the front sat the judge, an imposing figure in a black robe, her expression stern yet curious. In the defendant's chair was a black man named Marcus. He seemed calm despite the tension in the air. His simple attire contrasted sharply with the formal surroundings, but there was a spark in his eyes that hinted at something deeper. The audience, a mix of friends and strangers, shifted in their seats, whispering among themselves about what would come next. As witnesses took their places and papers shuffled, there was an underlying current of doubt in the room. Could this man really defend himself? The judge glanced at Marcus with a hint of skepticism, perhaps unaware that this was just the beginning of an unexpected turn of events. With a hint of laughter lingering in her eyes, she prepared to hear his case, not realizing how soon her amusement would transform into astonishment. Marcus had not always been a figure of calm in a courtroom. Growing up in a neighborhood marked by hardship, he often witnessed the struggles faced by those around him, especially young black men. His parents worked tirelessly to provide a better life, emphasizing the importance of education and resilience. He learned early on how biases could tilt the scales of justice against him and his friends, molding his desire to understand the law from a young age. In high school, he faced moments of discrimination that shook his confidence but also ignited a fire within him. He began reading legal books and attending local workshops, determined to educate himself about his rights and the legal system. Despite limited resources, Marcus persevered, often volunteering for community organizations that supported individuals facing legal issues. Though he had no formal legal training, these experiences shaped him into a self-taught advocate for himself and others. Now, as he sat in the courtroom, every challenge he faced was a reminder that he had fought hard to be there. Little did anyone know that his journey would soon unveil a brilliant mind ready to turn skepticism into respect. As the proceedings began, the judge looked down at Marcus with a mixture of curiosity and skepticism. His simple attire and unassuming demeanor seemed to suggest he was out of his depth in this formal setting. When Marcus confidently stated his intentions to represent himself, a soft chuckle escaped the judge's lips. She leaned forward, eyebrows raised as if to say, "Is this really how you want to approach this?" The courtroom buzzed with whispers as she made a light-hearted remark about the challenges of self-representation, expecting the defendant to falter under pressure. Her laughter echoed slightly, creating an awkward moment that caught even the audience off guard. To her, it seemed almost comical, this man believing he could navigate a complex legal battle without any formal training. But as Marcus spoke further, laying out his understanding of the charges against him and referencing legal precedents he had studied, the judge's expression began to shift. What started as disbelief soon transformed into a contemplative gaze, hinting at the realization that this was not just an ordinary case or an unprepared defendant. The atmosphere in the room began to change as curiosity replaced laughter. With the initial laughter fading, Marcus gathered his thoughts and began to speak with a confidence that surprised everyone in the room. He started by outlining the charges against him clearly, referencing specific statutes that applied to his case. His voice, steady and assertive, filled the courtroom as he pointed out inconsistencies in the prosecution's arguments. The judge leaned forward, her interest piqued as Marcus skillfully dissected each point. He cited legal precedents and explained how they related directly to his situation. The audience shifted in their seats, no longer whispering, but instead listening intently to this man who was defying expectations. As he continued, Marcus presented a logical defense strategy, drawing connections between his experiences and the law itself. He articulated his understanding of due process, emphasizing how it had been overlooked in his case. The judge's expression changed dramatically. What had once been skepticism now transformed into respect. She recognized not just the man before her, but also the depth of knowledge he brought to the table. In that moment, it became clear that Marcus was not merely fighting for his freedom, but also challenging the very assumptions that had underestimated him. As Marcus continued his defense, he seamlessly integrated legal terms that showcased his deep understanding of the law. He referred to the burden of proof, illustrating how the prosecution had not met this essential requirement in his case. The audience leaned in closer, captivated by how he explained this complex concept with simple analogies that resonated with their everyday experiences. When discussing witness credibility, he brought up the term exculpatory evidence, emphasizing how certain pieces of information had been ignored, which could prove his innocence. Each time he introduced a new legal term, the judge's eyebrows raised further in surprise, her earlier skepticism giving way to genuine admiration. Marcus then addressed double jeopardy, asserting that he should not be tried again for the same offense, a point that sent murmurs through the courtroom. As he connected these concepts with his life experiences, it became evident that he was not just reciting legal jargon. He was weaving a narrative that demonstrated his grasp of the very principles that govern justice. The transformation in the room was palpable. Even those who had doubted him were now nodding in agreement, acknowledging the brilliance of his arguments. As Marcus continued to navigate the courtroom procedures with remarkable ease, the judge began to see his true capability. He moved from one legal point to another, fluidly responding to questions and objections from the prosecutor without missing a beat. His confidence and familiarity with the rules of the court were striking. It was clear that he wasn't just another defendant, but a knowledgeable participant in this legal drama. The judge's initial skepticism faded as she observed Marcus challenge not only the prosecution's claims, but also her own expectations. She found herself captivated by how he effectively utilized courtroom decorum, addressing her respectfully while confidently presenting his arguments. Each time he referenced case law or procedural guidelines, a newfound respect blossomed in her eyes. The atmosphere shifted palpably. The tension that once filled the room now morphed into a mix of intrigue and admiration. Spectators exchanged glances of amazement, recognizing that they were witnessing something extraordinary. The judge leaned back in her chair, no longer viewing Marcus as an unprepared individual, but rather as an intellectual force, reshaping the narrative of the courtroom and leaving everyone eager to hear what he would say next. As Marcus continued to impress the courtroom, the prosecutor's demeanor shifted from confidence to frustration. Initially eager to dismiss him, the prosecutor now found himself on the defensive as Marcus skillfully dismantled each argument presented. The courtroom buzzed with whispers, spectators exchanging looks of disbelief and admiration at Marcus's ability to hold his own against a trained attorney. Several members of the audience began to nod in agreement as he made compelling points, recognizing that they were witnessing an extraordinary display of self-advocacy. A few friends of Marcus in the crowd wore broad smiles, feeling a swell of pride for his courage and intelligence. The prosecutor's brow furrowed as he fumbled through his notes, clearly taken aback by Marcus's eloquence and command of legal principles. It was evident that he had underestimated this defendant, and now he faced a real challenge in countering Marcus's assertions. The judge observed the scene with keen interest, noting how the tides had turned dramatically in favor of Marcus. The room was charged with an energy that hadn't been present before. Admiration for Marcus's skill permeated every corner as even those who doubted him now rallied in support of his fight for justice. As the courtroom drama unfolded, it became evident that appearances could be deceiving. Initially, many saw Marcus as just another defendant, unprepared and out of place among seasoned attorneys. Yet, as he demonstrated his legal prowess, the realization dawned that capability often resides where it is least expected. This situation highlighted a deeper issue within the legal system: how biases and preconceived notions can cloud judgment and justice. Marcus's journey underscored the importance of resilience and self-education, especially for individuals from marginalized backgrounds. The audience witnessed firsthand that intelligence comes in many forms, And sometimes those who challenge the status quo are the ones who truly understand the law's intricacies. His ability to articulate complex legal concepts made it clear that genuine understanding often lies beneath the surface. The judge's evolving perception mirrored society's struggle with justice itself. In a system where race and background can influence outcomes, Marcus's success emphasized that true justice should not depend on appearances or assumptions. As spectators reflected on this case, they were reminded of their own potential to confront norms and advocate for change, realizing that anyone could be a force for justice when given the opportunity. As the courtroom reflected on Marcus's remarkable performance, it became clear that representation and equal opportunity are vital in the legal system, particularly for marginalized individuals. Many in the audience recognized that not everyone has access to the same resources or support when facing legal challenges. Marcus's journey underscored how crucial it is for the justice system to provide fair chances for all, regardless of background. The judge, once skeptical, now understood the significance of representation as she realized how often talented individuals like Marcus are underestimated based on their appearance or circumstances. His success highlighted a systemic issue where many voices remain unheard due to societal biases. If more individuals had opportunities to express their knowledge and capabilities in similar situations, the legal landscape would be richer and more equitable. This moment also sparked conversations among spectators about their own roles in advocating for change within their communities. They began to see that supporting equal opportunities in court could lead to a fairer society, where everyone has a chance to stand up for themselves and fight against injustice. The courtroom was not just a place of law. It became a beacon of hope for those striving for equality. As the courtroom proceedings came to a close, the lessons learned from Marcus's remarkable journey resonated deeply within everyone present. The case was not just about legal arguments and courtroom tactics. It served as a powerful reminder that underestimating someone based on their background can lead to astounding results. Marcus, initially viewed as an unlikely champion of his own defense, revealed that intelligence and capability can emerge from the most unexpected places. The transformation in the judge's attitude and the audience's perception illustrated how biases can cloud judgment, often hiding brilliance behind preconceived notions. This experience encouraged spectators to reflect on their own judgments and assumptions about others, emphasizing the importance of looking beyond surface appearances. In a world where systemic barriers often limit opportunities for marginalized individuals, Marcus's success became a beacon of hope and inspiration. It reinforced the idea that everyone deserves a chance to shine, regardless of their past or circumstances. As the courtroom emptied, participants carried with them a renewed commitment to promoting equality and recognizing talent beyond traditional boundaries, a vital step toward fostering a more just society for all.